So, hey Scott,
Yeah, what's up?
guess what?
What?
There's a movie that we've been wanting to see for a very long time that we've been unable to find on streaming anywhere else in the
Oh,
world. And
oh.
it's, guess who has it?
Who?
Shudder
Oh, great. What is it?
Possession.
Oh,
From
from 1981?
1981
All
with
right.
Sam Neill. And we've been wanting to see it for the longest time because the horror community seems to find this movie, they hold it in high regard. And I'm just like, all right, well, we've been wanting to see it for a long time because we wanted to see what the hype is. It has a huge rating on IMDb, 7.3.
All right. Well, this is before and after reviews. We're just another movie night. I'm Scott.
And I'm Joe.
And okay, so we're gonna go check out Possession. Yeah, this is a movie I've been wanting to see for a very long time. This is one of those movies, like you were saying, people love it.
Yeah.
And every time we see a list of horror movies that you have to see, this is on it. This is also on those lists of the scariest moments in movies.
Yeah, it's on a lot of lists, to be
And
honest with you.
I saw once on a clip, I think it was on one of those shows with the countdown for the scariest moments. And I think there's a clip of her in like a subway and she's like freaking out. I guess she's possessed, or the name suggests. So much so, like I've seen film scholars deem this movie one of the most uncompromising horror movies in cinematic history.
Okay, that's high praise.
This is a weird one. I think it has a what is it, an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 75 Metacritic and a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb. I'm super stoked for this movie. I'm literally have been dying to see this
I
for a
mean, I
very
really
long
have been
time.
wanting to see it too, and we couldn't find it anywhere. So now, thank you, Shutter, for putting this up.
Yeah, I can't
So,
wait. So yeah, let's go check this thing out.
okay, sounds good.
I have your letters, my love. Trust me, you're open all the time. You are fucking your ass off. You want me to believe you? Oh, yes!
A monster, a fool. I fuck her on with everybody. Whenever you turn her on, I fuck her on with everybody. On every corner. You will let me go.
Please don't make me force it.
You can't stop me. I open the window and shout. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Fuck your legs. You know what this is for? The lies.
And you have to add much more.
One eternity later.
Hey, hey Joe, guess what time it is? Guess what time it is?
It's talking trash.
It's definitely talking trash.
Talking trash.
Now it's garbage.
Just another movie night.
We just struggled through the 2 hour and I believe 20-minute runtime. No, 2 hours and 4 minute runtime
Oh my god.
of the 1981 supposed classic Possession.
Supposed class.
Let me tell you something. What this movie really needs to be called is When the Screaming Stops.
Oh my god.
Wrote you, I was at Margie's.
That's not true. I spoke to her.
I was with him.
It's not true either. I saw him. I may stink from him, but he's not lying.
I was with friends.
Who?
New friends.
I'll check.
Yes, check, 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 check.
Oh, I have never in my life held a remote for sound for that long.
Okay, because tell our listeners why.
Why what?
Why did you hold the remote?
So when I just said that this movie should be called When the Screaming Stops, I'm not kidding, because this movie might as well be called The Scream.
Well, you had to hold the remote because our neighbors would think that I'm being murdered.
Either that you're being murdered or we're having the loudest sex of all time. This is batshit crazy.
Existing this word, I would have never had Bob with you.
I have not in my lifetime seen a movie
Oh my god.
this insane in all my life.
I just sat for 2 hours with my mouth wide open. I think at one point
You
I
left.
I left. I left my body.
You left your body and basically left the room as I sat through some of this.
I mean, okay.
And I will say that
I couldn't take no more.
I was laughing out of control. This is one of those times where we find a movie that is that so bad that it's so crazy, and almost to that level of so bad it's good. It is, people like knock the room for the insane acting and the insane reactions to things. Why don't they talk about this movie? Because I actually feel like Tommy Wiseau's The Room might be more competent, but and that's crazy because I know people love this. In the opening, we talked about.
I don't understand. I'm flabbergasted.
We talked about in the opening that people hold this so high. Best horror scene ever. Best like cult classic status. People have come out of the woodwork. When it was released, it got a lot of flack. People were like, "What the fuck is this movie?" Right? And I would say those people are justified. I do understand that sometimes movies become more and of a cult classic as time goes on. And this is one of those movies that I can see why. It is so friggin' nuts. And I understand that it's got a point of view. It's trying to say like humanity is screwed, and this is like a look into the most insane relationships in our society and how evil breeds itself in this. And it's got something to say that's really crazy about people in society and relationships. Fine, that's cool. I would say that all of it comes across in the most odd way imaginable. This is like David Lynch. I'm trying to think of all the directors we've seen. Like they had a baby.
Like David Cronenberg, David Lynch.
Cronenberg, David Lynch. It's like the most insane moments in all of their movies shoved into one.
I don't even know. I went to some a different place in my head. Like when I was watching this, I couldn't believe what was happening on the screen.
How long in did you think that you just went, what the fuck? Like how long did it take where you just finally clicked and went?
Okay, I think that it was at the half-hour mark where she just started losing her mind. The actress, the character of Anna.
Well, I would say that's that statement is odd because there's not a moment where she hasn't lost her mind. In the opening moments, they're out of their minds.
Yeah, in the opening moments, like so. Oh my God. So Sam Neill is he plays the husband in this, and his wife is played by Isabel Adjani.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you just one thing about this woman. I don't know how she didn't need years of therapy after doing this movie, because I have never seen acting like this in my life.
What came to mind during this movie was Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now. Now, if anybody doesn't know out there, Martin Sheen had a nervous breakdown during the filming of Apocalypse Now, and it's on screen. And they actually filmed him while he was drunk and having nervous breakdowns in that movie. And it shows, it comes across. Almost everybody, even Francis Ford Coppola, he even had a breakdown. And everybody was on drugs and everybody was messed up and people were going nuts. And it's all on screen. And so it makes it the most wild thing to watch. I feel the same way here because I said, this actress, I don't know what they did to her. I don't know how she was able to ever sleep again.
Jesus! 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 Jesus!
If you want to stay, make that call.
No, it was physical, not even just physical acting, which was incredible to watch. I mean, I've never seen anybody act with their full on body the way she did, but the mental exertion, the facial exertion, you could see all of it. I don't know how she ever recovered after doing this movie. It just seems like she was going through something major. And I'm telling you, if there was there was something going on with this actress where she was not, she was possessed by the devil or something like that,
I'd believe
you
it.
would believe it 100%.
Yeah.
I have never seen physical acting like this. It was mind-boggling. I can't even describe it.
Yeah. And I would say that it's so hard to talk about because the highlight of this film is without a doubt this actress going absolutely insane. But it goes on for 2 hours and it's draining. It's physically exhausting to watch. And it's also laughable. And it shouldn't be. There are scenes in this where I was like, I don't think I should be laughing at this, but I can't help myself.
I mean, there's no way you couldn't laugh at it because it was so unnerving. You didn't know if you were supposed to be feeling really sorry for this woman, or the actress, which I did. I felt sorry for the actress because I feel like she was just going through something major. Or if it was so comical, the acting was so over the top that you just couldn't get your head around it. And so you laughed about it.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's to the point where the movie is hard to take serious in any light. So you just don't even think you don't know how to handle it.
You can't just say you don't know. That's what you said on the phone. When will you know?
I don't know.
And I would say it borders on overacting and good acting at the same time. And I don't know if that's a good thing. That's my point.
I mean, even Sam Neill was so extra. It was,
I think he's terrible in this.
I mean, yeah, he was so extra. We've seen him act, and I gotta tell you, I have never seen a man that, I mean, he literally is, his facial expressions in this movie were so bewildering, and the way he behaved,
yeah.
I mean, in the line delivery was just trash. I mean,
I don't know how to handle him. I could not take him seriously.
No.
It is some of the most insane overacting.
What are you doing?
I'm sorting out his things to take to the laundry.
I can do it myself.
My job. I'm
Very
better
nice.
at it.
Maybe you could do it when both is at home.
And it's from everybody.
It's everyone
Everybody
in the
this movie
Everyone.
is almost like test reels or comedy and doing slapstick.
Yeah.
It's so friggin' weird.
I just want to know when the director was, yelling action, what was his motivation? Like, what did he tell the actors that their motivation was? Because when you look at this acting, especially from the character Anna, you're wondering what the director told her to do, or like where he sent her in her mind to do this acting. Because this acting, I have never ever seen anybody do this. It's like she completely just went out of herself. It was like she was literally possessed by an entity. It was crazy. I've just never seen anything like it. I guess, do you want to just go through the plot real quick?
Yeah, well, let's try because this is insane.
For people who have not seen this movie, I mean, I recommend seeing it because I feel like everybody
Wow.
has to see this thing to
I'm
just
surprised that you're
because
saying
let me
this.
tell you something. If the horror community is this up in arms about this film and it gets a 7.3 on IMDb, I feel like everyone needs to watch it because it can't be just us that is completely like beside ourselves with this.
Yeah, I look. Let's talk about that first, right? The horror community's viewpoints on things is very interesting. It's very strange. It's something that I'm not particularly sure I understand. Uh, when something is very odd or an oddity of some sort, like a cult status type of thing, the horror community embraces it in a way where I'm not used to.
Right.
Because certain movies that I feel like they aren't that bad and they have some cool special effects and they have some interesting ideas, they get shit on.
Yeah.
But then a movie that's just so bizarre and so off-putting to so many people,
Yeah.
people in the horror community embrace that in a weird,
Yeah,
weird way.
I don't get it. I
I don't
just
get
don't
it
get
either.
it, you know? I'm trying to figure out what about this film has people rating it on IMDb
Tens.
as tens. What what an experience. Like I'm talking about tens.
Well, let's name some movies that you have seen that blew your mind in the same kind of way, in a creepy and a like a way where you feel like, holy crap, that was an experience. But at the same time, I don't think I could watch this movie again. Are there any movies that you hold high like that? Can you name any like off
That
bat?
I mean I could tell you movies that have that I mean you mean horror movies
Well, yeah, like
that
you know,
have
there's a
done.
lot of like psychological horror or psychological movies that are very disturbing, and you know they're good, but you just like
Yeah.
I can't do that ever again myself.
God, there's so many, but I will say that I think the last movie that had an effect on me like that, like I felt crazy like watching Hereditary because I couldn't I felt kind of skeeved but intrigued at the same time.
Like that
So that
emotional
kind of
drain.
emotional drain. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that. And
I have a couple that come to mind.
yeah.
I have Climax,
Mhm.
which I thought was brilliant, but I can understand why a lot of people wouldn't like it.
Mhm.
It is very taxing to watch
Mhm.
because it is just the like descent into madness being filmed in a way where it wants you to experience that madness with them.
Mhm.
That to me was like emotionally draining. At the end, I think our mouths were wide open, like,
Mhm.
wow, I haven't seen anything like that before. Another one is like Requiem for a Dream, which I have watched a
Oh,
lot, but
right.
it is extremely taxing in that
Mhm.
emotional way. It is very disturbing in its own ways.
Yeah.
There are a couple, I think, of other movies like that.
Yeah,
Like
well, we just watched one that was mind-boggling with David Cronenberg's
his newest movie,
the one with the Crimes of the
yeah,
Future.
Crimes of the Future.
That one I can't ever watch that again.
I
Ever.
would never, I wouldn't watch it again because I didn't particularly like it.
Right, but also it was one of those movies where it was just cringeworthy through the whole thing,
Yeah,
you know?
I think that movie was just so odd in a strange way that it just felt like this is not something I need to experience again.
Right.
Although, like to me, Climax I would suggest that to people because if you're talking about what you find horrific, I think like Requiem for a Dream and Climax are those type of movies.
Mhm.
Hereditary is a good one, but I would watch Hereditary again. Another one is the remake of Suspiria. I remember that also being like this is a very taxing on emotions. Like
Oh yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very draining and it's very hard to sit through this long process of terror. To me, this movie's in that sense, but the movie just doesn't make sense enough.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest
I
issue.
was very confused, and the actress Isabel Adjani, she's quoted as saying, "Possession is the only type of film you can do when you're young." And I get that because of the physical acting that she had to do.
I
Like
guess
I
so.
totally understand it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so do you want us to
Yeah,
do like
just
a
jump in.
quick
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little
plot
bit. Yeah.
thing?
This movie starts off right off the bat with Sam Neill and his, I guess, wife. They're
Yeah.
having an argument. He comes home from like a meeting of work. He's in a business suit.
Like a business
He
trip.
comes home. They have a child. Now, it's very unclear if it's his child or a child from a previous relationship.
It's his child.
Well,
Yeah.
later on, he says some stuff that makes it sound like it's not. It's very strange. so he comes home and they have like a little bit of a spat, and they just end up in bed together naked. Now they sound like they're breaking up, but then they're in bed naked, staring up into the ceiling at us, and they start talking about how this is odd from moment one. He basically says, "Is it over? Are you even into me?" And she's like, "No."
Yeah, she's
But
not
she
into
seems
him.
like she doesn't want him to leave.
Right. It's like they have
She
some
seems
kind
sad
of
about it.
weird like addiction to each other. And he even says to her, "I don't want you."
Yeah.
You know?
He's like, yeah, I'm not attracted to you either.
Yeah, and so like, okay, you're laying in bed naked together. What is happening right now? I don't even get it. So I'm like, okay,
That's a theme
all
in this
right.
movie, by the way.
Yeah, the whole my theme in this movie is what is happening right now. And I think I've said that no less than 37 times when we watched it.
Yeah.
Okay?
When I said this is a theme throughout the movie, I meant laying in bed naked, not doing anything sexually. That's a thing
Yeah.
that happens throughout this movie a
It
couple
makes no
times.
sense. It makes no sense. So we're assuming that they're breaking up, and then that comes actually to we can actually get the answer.
Well, no, she leans and looks at her and says, "Do you even want me?" And she says, "No." And he leans back over and he looks at us again. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm not attracted to you either."
Yeah.
And then cut to him coming home, what seems to be the next day, and she has left.
She left. Yeah.
And there's like a note, and I guess she took the child. Mm-hmm. And he goes absolutely insane.
I mean, completely insane.
When I say insane, yeah, it's a drug bender meltdown.
I mean, he looks like a zombie from The Walking Dead. Okay, he literally he's still in the same suit that he came home when he found that she was gone. He's still in that same suit. Now, I'm guessing it's weeks later because he
It's
literally
3 weeks of this.
has torn suit, like food all over him.
He's stumbling around hallways,
He's
drunk.
pale, drunk, sweating, a disgusting mess, stumbling around the apartment building. Like, I mean, just a hot mess. He's just, it's ridiculous. And so she left him,
Yeah, he
which we
called.
find is for,
She calls him and she's like, "I don't want any more contact. It's over." And he's like, "Are you with someone else?" He finds
Mm-hmm.
out. He keeps asking questions like, Do you not love me? Do you not love me anymore?" And then
which
she's
was
like,
established in the beginning.
"Yeah," and he said he wasn't either.
Right. So
So-
what is going on?
I mean, it's just this idea of like how people lie to each other about
Yeah.
things or hold back their truths because they feel like they need to. It's so fucking weird. And then so he's freaking out, and she says, "I'm with someone new." He's like, "Is he there?" "Yes." "Is he listening?" "Yes." "Can I talk to him?" "No, he's not here." I didn't understand it. And then he's like, I don't get it. He keeps hanging up, and that's when he has the nervous breakdown, and he freaks out for 3 weeks. And this woman comes to his house and says, "You basically." It's really hard to understand who this woman is. She shows up and he finds out that his son has been left. The mother has disappeared, his wife, and he has to go get her. Now he says to her, "How long has it been since I've been like this?" 3 weeks. Now you have to question, doesn't he have a job?
Yeah, what happened to his job?
Yeah,
Now this is
he
the
had a
job he
job.
travels for, obviously, and you see him in like in a board meeting and stuff.
Yeah,
And
what
so
country
like
is this? Germany? Where are they?
I don't know.
I don't remember. I don't know where they are.
I don't know where they are either. Everyone has accents except for the
It's
little
like
boy.
French or something. It's like
yeah.
slums. There's a lot of nobody in this movie. There's a lot of kids running around,
Yeah.
but no people are like really in this world.
It doesn't
It's
seem
very
like there's like
strange.
any people on the street or anything in this movie. It's so weird. I mean, I can't even tell you how weird this movie is. It just
Yeah, he finally snaps out of it. I guess he shaves, showers finally, and gets a new suit on, and goes and finds his son, who's like a 5-year-old.
okay, yeah. So the little boy is like 5, and then
He's covered in chocolate, and he's playing on the floor, and she's like, "How long has it been?" And he's like, Mom said she was coming back, but she never came back. It's been a while."
I'm like, how long did she leave this little boy by himself?
He takes his shirt off and tries to clean him up, and looks at his body, and we get this shot from him behind, and like he's super skinny.
Yeah, like he hasn't been eating or is malnourished or
Yeah,
something.
and he just stares at
He
it
just
like
stares at
very
him.
like,
Oh my God, it's
"Whoa."
like it's so creepy. It's so creepy.
And he thinks he takes care of this kid. He starts cleaning up the house. He's taking care of him, and then the wife just shows up again,
Out of
and
nowhere.
says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't come home soon enough." Like, you left
Like,
this
you
kid
left this
alone.
little boy. Like, there's something majorly wrong with this woman. Obviously, we see in the beginning, from minute one, we know that it's not just that she doesn't love her husband anymore. There's something wrong with her.
Yeah.
Like, she's mentally fucked in the
But
head or
same
something.
thing with Sam Neill.
Yeah, they're both mentally fucked
They're
in the head.
so mentally insane and out of
So,
their minds. They have, and this is the first freak out.
oh
They
my God.
literally melt down, screaming at each other, slamming things in the house, breaking things, freaking out. And he's like begging her and also being like abusive. And she's like out of her mind. She's doing a lot of like eye open acting. They're like staring off. They constantly do terrible angles
Yeah,
of
I
their
mean,
insanity.
I feel like there's no way to describe this acting unless you see it with your own eyeballs.
Just
Like, you
imagine
have to.
screaming over and over and at the top of their
And it's
lungs.
like,
I had
it's
to take the remote and put it down.
yeah,
I was
it's the most uncomfortable screaming. Like, it's you've seen people like fight in movies where they're like yelling at each other, but no. This is like, this woman was clearly going through something. Like, either the director and filmmakers told her that, terrible lies about Sam Neill in order for her to hate his guts, but I have never seen another actor scream at another actor like this.
I mean, it's
It,
intense.
it is just so
and
intense
and
and
this is only the first of many.
oh my God, she's okay. Just so you know, she's screaming through this whole entire movie.
So is he. Yeah, so is he.
They both are insane.
Everybody does. There's a couple other characters are screaming too. So yeah, I think that it basically she's like wanting to take the kid, but he takes the kid and he's like gonna bring the kid to school, and she keeps running off and she keeps like taking things from the house and she keeps disappearing and he doesn't know where she's going. And this goes on for a long time. There's a lot of this.
When we
And-
find out there's a guy,
well, yeah, I'll get to that. I just wanted to set up that for some reason at the school that he brings his son to, the teacher is the same actress.
Okay.
And he even grabs her hair to try to take it off and say, "Why are you wearing that wig?"
Yeah, because he thinks it's his wife.
And she laughs about it. She
Like,
thinks
she's
it's so
like,
funny.
No, this is my hair.
that's my hair. What are you
but
doing?
it's literally the same exact actress. So like, why would they make the teacher have like look exactly like his wife?
I think they're trying to establish the duality of good and evil, like
Or that he's
she's the bad
completely
side,
obsessed.
the obsessive side, and then the one that is good for you, but you don't want it to be. I don't know. I'm guessing.
I mean,
I'm guessing.
There's no way to know.
Yeah. So he like gets obsessed with finding her, and he finds the. I think she has a friend. He keeps calling this friend on the phone, and the friend keeps
What's her
answering the
name?
phone. Oh,
Is
it doesn't
Helen?
really matter.
I don't know.
Yeah, he. That's a crazy relationship.
Yeah, we don't even
He
need
keeps
that.
telling you like, "I hate you," and she's like, "I hate you" on the phone, and she doesn't want to see you, and he's trying to find out information. He finally finds out that her boyfriend that she's been living with or seeing is this guy, this older gentleman at a house. He goes to this guy's house. Now, talk about sequences that are. I laughed throughout this entire thing. It was just so maddening.
I didn't even know
This character is a David Lynch character.
Yeah, he is.
He's like very sexual toward him. Like he
Yeah.
wants to touch him.
Yeah.
We don't have to be brutal to each other or even impolite. Our situation is like a mountain lake we are trying to swim in, starting from different shores. I'm not astonished you're here. I was thinking about you just before you came, so now that you're here, let's be open to each other. You can hate me as much as you like, but it's you who wants to know things for me. So please make it possible. I'm suffering as much as you are. The fact that Anna did not inform you was harmful to everyone. But I'd always accept Anna's ways, as I think no one has a right to impose his will on anyone.
So he's like gets to the door and this guy's like, she's not here. And he's very like staring him up and down, and Sam Neill's like he's doing the most terrible bewildered acting. Like he's like really psychopathic and he wants to get in the house, and he's like, you can come in the house. No, she's not here. And he gets in the house, he goes through him, and he's just like talking to him about like romance and how he has been sleeping in this. There's a bed in like the living room, and he has been sexually involved with his wife in this bed while his mother sleeps in the next room. And he goes, "You've been sleeping with my wife while your mother's in the next room? And he goes, of course.
My mother.
Here all the time.
Yes,
Even when you're fucking Anna.
of course.
I mean, first of all, there's no need to even give us that piece of info. It's just, are you trying to make this movie more cringeworthy? Because, like, we don't need that info. And why are you telling this woman's husband this?
This character.
It's so weird.
You mean this guy? Oh yeah. This this actor is amazing. I don't know what's happening. Sam Neill like goes to attack him, and because he's being he like holds his hands at one moment.
Yeah.
Sam Neill's just like, I hate you, and this guy's like, I love you, and
Yeah,
it's
it was
okay
like-
that I'm giving your wife what you can't give her. And then he's like, I can't take it anymore, so he attacks him. Now the mother had walked into the room and saw them and just walked past and went into the other room, and so this starts happening now, where Sam Neill attacks him, but this guy kicks the ever-loving shit out of Sam
Yeah,
Neill
he is
in
like
a dance formation.
It's like a dance martial arts.
Yeah, he's doing ballet.
It's so weird.
It's
It's weird. He
hilarious.
kicks Sam Neill's ass, but he's like doing it in almost a graceful ballet
Yes.
way.
He keeps posing at the
Like,
end of each
what
hit.
is this?
Sam Neill is like so messed up, but he stands up to get one more attack, and this guy karate chops the sides of his head, and this makes blood come out of everything from Sam
from
Neill.
his freaking
ears,
face.
his mouth, he's gushing red paint from any Argento film you've ever seen. And it is
It was Argento-esque.
hilarious. And then he picks him up and he holds him and he stares at him.
Yeah.
And Sam Neill's still trying to attack him.
It's almost like a romantic fight. It's so weird.
It's so
I don't
strange.
know.
This guy's
I
like, hey
can't-
man, calm down. It's all good. We're all in this together.
I mean, the guy's like the most understanding guy.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to like console him while kicking his ass. It's so
But
weird.
He's also very like condescending, and Samuel's like, "What about my son? You guys left my son." And he's like, "No, she's not. I haven't seen her in a while. I was wondering if she went back to you." But he keeps saying, "You're a liar. You're a liar," and that's why they fight. And Samuel runs out bloody, and he goes home, and she's there again, the wife.
Oh god.
And
And-
I can't remember which Scream attack this is, but let's just skip around because there's so many of these.
Yeah.
This is a scene where he starts debating, where are you going? Who's your lover? Is that him? And all that. And she's like, no, I left him. I have a new lover, a new place or whatever. And she starts grinding meat in a meat
Yeah,
press,
I was like,
some kind of
something is gonna happen here.
yeah,
It
some
was
kind of meat
like
grinder.
a sausage grinder, like a meat
I guess so, but
grinder.
it was an electric one. And she's like sticking the meat in there.
Yeah.
And we keep getting a shot. He's standing in a way where he's got his back to her, but his face to us. So we're half camera of his face, and then her in the background grinding meat, and her talking while looking out of a window. And her eyes are insane.
Yeah.
And he's like saying things like, are you out of love with me? She's like, yeah. And he's like, are you doing this because you're afraid that I won't like you anymore? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, what are these mixed messages? What is happening
There's
here?
like zero mixed messages. She
Yeah.
out and out told him in the beginning she doesn't want him.
Yeah.
Like that's it. She was sleeping with another
But she
man.
keeps coming back
And she
for him.
keeps coming back to the same apartment. I'm like, okay, I can't do this. I'm like, this is so bewildering. Now this is like, then they get into another fight.
Well, I gotta, yeah.
But she puts an electric
Well, as one does when you're fighting.
knife to her throat and cuts herself.
On the neck. Yeah, on the side of her neck. She drills her neck and she screams.
Naturally, I'm just like, okay, that's it. This woman is completely, she needs to be in some kind of institution.
Well, he takes this pretty well. He wraps her neck in a white
in
bandage.
in a nice gauze
In a nice
bandage.
gauze bandage.
And he's very calm about it. He's stroking her face.
And then she says, I don't like you. I don't want to be with you. And then he goes into the kitchen and takes the electric knife and starts sawing his arm.
yeah. I'm like,
And
okay.
she comes in, she says to him, doesn't hurt, does it? And he goes, no. Cut
Like,
to, next
okay,
scene.
Next scene.
Nothing.
Like what? Oh, I don't know. But we skipped over the whole divorce scene where, she goes into the restaurant. They go to the restaurant.
Oh, that's early on. I wish you would have remembered that then.
Yeah, but there's a million times that this woman has told this guy that she
That's
wants
after
a
he
divorce.
finds the son.
So after he finds the son sitting in the apartment for who knows how long by himself, he's like,
Oh, no, yeah. No, this happens before he finds his son because what he says to her.
oh
Okay,
yeah,
so you want to...
yeah. So they
Sorry.
meet at a restaurant, and it's
They
the
don't
most
sit in front of
bizarre
each other.
scene I have ever. They don't even sit in front of each other. They sit like kind of like side, like on the side of each other. It's so weird.
But like on different
But
tables
at different
on a corner.
tables on a corner, and they're not even even looking at each other. And she's just out and out. I just want a divorce. That's it. I want a divorce. And he just starts losing his shit. Then they start another screaming match.
He attacks her with
He
chairs.
attacks her and starts throwing chairs at her in the middle of this restaurant with people there.
Only about 3 people exist in this world. So there's
Right.
only 3 people in this restaurant.
But it's so bad that he's literally throwing chairs and flipping tables and chasing after her as she's running out of the restaurant. And people have to subdue him because he's literally attacking her with furniture.
Let's establish why that happens. Because he tells her, I don't want our son. I'm not going to see him, and I'm not going to be his father. If you don't want me in your life, why would I be fake and be his father?
Right, so that
when
kind
you
of
don't want me in that world.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're insane. That's terrible.
Yeah. So where I'm thinking that kind of made us thinking it's not really his son, but
Yes, I didn't understand.
I didn't understand it. I still don't understand
She's
it.
like, he needs a father. And he's like, well, we'll get to the next person you're cheating on.
Yeah, you're having an affair. Get that
He needs a
dude.
stable person in his world to be his father.
Like I've never heard a man say that.
And he doesn't care about this kid at all.
I mean, no, nobody cares about this kid in this
No
movie.
one cares about this kid.
And so I'm just like, okay,
Except the teacher.
the teacher is the only one that cares about this child. So I'm just like, oh my God, after that scene, I mean, literally, how is he not arrested?
I know.
He was throwing furniture. He almost hit some random lady with a chair. I mean, it was just bonkers. I mean,
A whole bunch of people come and they wrestle him to the floor.
yeah. And then cut to the next scene of insanity, where she's back. I don't even know where she is. She's in some derelict apartment.
Well, no, we don't see that. We find that out because Sam Neill goes to a private eye and hires him to follow. And he's like, you're a part of the family now.
Oh,
and
God,
this
that's right.
private eye gets hired to follow her. And one day she goes grocery shopping, and this guy follows her with the grocery shopping. Now, this is the worst private eye you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
He follows her only 5 feet behind her. And she goes to a grocery store. She gets groceries. She sits on a subway car next to a bum who reaches into her bag and gets a banana.
Yeah, the scenes in this movie, I don't even know what is going on. Okay, first of all, the whole subway car is completely empty. So she sits right next to this stranger.
She doesn't even react.
She doesn't even react when he takes groceries and bananas and shit out of her bag and eats it. She's completely dead inside, this woman. I don't even know what's going on now. That whole subway car thing was just, it was just to throw the watcher, the viewer, into more madness, because I felt like I was descending into madness at this point.
Yeah, it constantly wants you to like question every scene, every ridiculous sequence. What does this mean? What's going on?
Yeah, I have so many questions, but up at this point in the movie, I just feel like she's completely insane. That's it.
Well, but that's the problem with the movie. She seems insane, but so is Sam Neill.
Oh, yeah,
and I
they're
would say
both
so
insane.
is everybody in this film. So it's very confusing when later on things happen, which we're getting to now, because this private eye is following her, and she runs, he runs. It couldn't be any more
I
obvious.
mean,
And of course,
he
the
just
streets
looks
are
like
empty.
a creep. He looks like he's gonna attack her.
The streets are completely empty.
No people.
So she knows he's running after her, and he acts like he's not. And he's an overweight guy, so he's sweating his ass off. He's like dying.
Yeah.
And she goes into an old building, and he follows her, runs after her all the way up the stairs, the whole thing. But then runs past her and pretends like he's still running up the
I know.
stairs.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Has he gone mental also? Like, what is going on? Everyone in this movie is mental.
Like, what is your plan, dude? Like, you're trying to trick her? You made it obvious. You were on a train with her. You were at the grocery store with her. You're running after her. You're following her, and then you follow up the stairs. And now his next plan is he goes outside and gets food from a cart, and then goes back upstairs, puts the food plate on the staircase, and then decides to ring her doorbell. Now, He rings it 3 times. He holds it down at one point and then starts banging on the door until she finally.
What was the reasoning?
Yeah. And then he's like, "Hey, I'm an inspector of the building."
Yeah.
Sorry to bother you, miss. I'm from the building manager's office. We had a complaint about some broken window somewhere and the glass falling down from the
that what it
sidewalk.
is?
I'm afraid I have to check your windows.
But I can assure you they were right.
How can you be so sure? I just saw you come in. It'll only take a moment.
But I don't want you to be here.
Yeah, this guy. You mean the guy that just ran after me for 20 minutes? Yeah.
Like she wouldn't know. And then like first of all, this entire building is it's like being held together by tape. Okay, it is disgusting. This building. It's like a derelict. Like it looks like an abandoned shithole, and the walls are falling down, and it just looks like a mess. And she's in there, and you see in the room, there's like one mattress on the floor.
Oh yeah. Well, he gets in the room because he tells her that a window has fallen out and hit someone on the street, and he wants to check he's a window inspector, and he wants to go and inspect all of the windows in her apartment. And she says, "I don't want you in here," and he gets in there. Anyways.
It was just his way of like looking around and seeing what was going on.
Around
but it was so not needed.
I really don't want you in this house, and he just goes in there anyways, and he starts inspecting, and we have to watch him inspect every single
window. I'm like, oh my
And she just says to him, "Hey, I'm gonna have wine. Do you want wine with me?" And then he's like,
I'm afraid I still have to check it.
For a glass of wine.
Why?
Yes.
I'm afraid
Yes, why?
I'm afraid you...
Oh, come on. Don't be so...
Miss, it doesn't make any sense. I've got kids. I only came for the windows.
and then she
so weird.
drops the bottle on the floor and says, "Oh, I dropped the bottle. Ha 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 ha."
Broke.
Doesn't make any. It's insane.
doesn't.
Well, he goes to inspect the bathroom, and she says, "There are no windows in my bathroom." And he goes, "Are you sure?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure I know my bathroom." And she's laughing. He goes in there. There is, like you said, there's nothing in this house. It's an abandoned, falling apart. The wallpaper's crumbling. It's
a
completely
freaking-
a crack
it's a-
den.
it's a crack den,
And
yeah.
there's only one mattress on the floor with sheets on it. And he goes into the bathroom area, and when he opens the door, it is what looks like a basement, a dirty, disgusting, falling apart, dark basement with what looks like a human wet turd coming out of the wall. Right there, I was like, now this is a whole nother movie now. And he stares at it. He puts his glasses on. His reaction is, put my glasses on and stare harder at it. And it is like moving. It's a sentient wet turd. And it is like moving. Like, okay. And he's like, what is that?
Sound
She
effect.
she picks the broken bottle
God.
up and smashes it into his neck
Into
about
his
3 or 4
neck.
times.
But like I looked at you and I was like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is this? It's
Yeah.
like it looked like the tar monster from Return of the Living Dead. It was gross.
It's not even that. It's just
and it had those
has
weird
no
like
features.
it was oh god. It was just it had the slime oh gosh, it's just gross.
Right there, I was like,
I was
okay,
like,
we're getting
okay,
somewhere now.
I can't.
I thought to myself, we're getting somewhere now. This is going to be a whole nother movie. And then it's not. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't explain it. So he gets killed. And I thought, well, we're going somewhere now, and we're going to get to this amazing thing. But no, it doesn't come. It doesn't get explained. I don't know if it ever. Well, it does. But Sam Neill just cuts to him now, and his he gets a relationship with the teacher. The teacher instantly likes him and comes to his house, and she comes to the house, and he asks her to help him get his son out of the bathtub while he answers the door. And now the boyfriend, the guy that beat his ass, is at the door, and this guy is drunk acting. He is spinning around drunk in the hallway. He is stumbling, and Sam Neill and him have this conversation. Now, Sam Neill is at this point, he's like, I'm over it. I'm over my wife. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And I love everybody. He actually has this whole speech where he says on the phone, I love everything and everybody.
Yeah, he has like some revelation out of nowhere.
So he tells this guy's like, where is she? I want your wife, my girlfriend. And he's like, she's not with you. She's not with me. I don't know. She's got another guy now. And he's like, this is impossible. And he's spinning and he's falling down the stairs and he keeps walking up. And Sam Neill's messing with him. And he's like dancing around him until he finally tells him, hey, do you believe in God? And he says, no, God's a disease. And he says, That's why when we get disease and we die, we see God.
Oh
And
my
he
God.
gets in an elevator and leaves him. And he goes in the room, and that girl, the teacher, is playing with his son in the room, and is taking care of him. And they start getting romantically involved after the kid goes to sleep for night. They lay down in the bed naked together, the teacher and Sam Neill. And they just stare at us. And they said, she goes, you can make love to me if you want. And he says, I'm just going to lay here.
So they lay there.
I guess they lay there. They don't even explain anything else. There's no conversation between these two characters. She just leaves. It's the next day. And another gentleman comes to Sam Neill. I'm cutting way forward. But another gentleman comes in, and this gentleman comes up to him and holds Sam Neill's hands. And he caresses his hands. And he says, I work with the private eye. You know, he's the private eye he hired. And he had hired that other guy. And he says, he hasn't come home. And I am his boyfriend. And we're together, and I don't know where he is.
So he goes on like a hunt for his
boyfriend,
and
but Samuel's like, I no longer care about what's going on with my
he
wife. I'm moved on.
Checked out because he's now got this teacher.
Except he still is insane for her. And
it doesn't help that the teacher looks exactly like the wife because it's the same actress.
And I would say better looking. She looks so much different. It's just
the hair. She has
different. I think she has contact lenses in.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
So there's a sequence now. I have to point all these sequences out. But the wife is a ballerina instructor with kids.
Okay, so she's a dance teacher, yes.
So we get a sequence where I don't know what is happening.
Okay,
here.
so she is almost physically and mentally abuses a young dancer by showing her that she's not doing the plie correctly.
Yeah.
And she holds up her leg and pulls her arm back. You can see this young actress is clearly in pain.
It's like sexual assault
It's
almost.
like
I couldn't tell what it was.
I wouldn't say it's sexual assault, but it's abuse.
She's like up against her, touching her own body, and she's like bending her.
Yeah,
and this girl's wildly like. She is. I don't even know if the acting is like pain or if it's orgasmic.
No,
it's really
it seems like this young actress is in pain and she's uncomfortable. And this scene literally does nothing. It explains nothing. It shows only that this woman has gone out of her mind. She's already out of her mind the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, but this whole sequence makes no sense because we're never established that she's a dance instructor or whatever. But this also is the first time that the character and the actress stares into the camera and talks to us. She's telling us she's talking into the camera. She's staring. You kept saying she's looking in the camera.
She's looking at us.
But she was doing it on purpose. She's doing like a monologue.
From now on, she know how much right to sing, and she will. She's got in her to say, I can do as well. I can be better. I'm the best. Only in this case can she become success. Nobody taught me that. Well, that's why I'm with you. Because you say I for me. Because you say I for me. Only in this case can she become success.
As she's torturing this child.
I think that the whole point of that shot was for the director to establish that she was gone. That the character was also gone mentally.
They use these sequences into a way to explain to us what's happening in the film, and I would say that
we already know at this point.
Well, no.
I mean, it's just bonkers.
It's called possessions. We're assuming that's the devil and is possessing her, but you really don't get that.
You don't get it at all.
So now the other guy has found the house and he's looking for his boyfriend, and he comes into the house and she lets him in the Earth house. And he gets into the bedroom, where he sees the turd monster laying in the middle of the bed. Like that. And he's just like, what the hell is this? And then he turns, and now he takes this pretty well. He's just like, what? And she says, oh, he's tired. He's not fully developed yet. We made love all night last night.
Oh my God.
And he's not ready yet. And he's like, what? And then he sees his dead boyfriend behind the door. And he says, oh, he's not done yet either. He still has some time to mutate or whatever. And he needs him. And then the guy's like, freaks out and pulls a gun. He falls to the floor crying and pulls a gun out and for some reason shoots nowhere near her.
No, nowhere.
And then she just beats the living shit out of him, screaming at
he's
him.
like on the ground, and he has a gun, mind you, but she just beats him to death.
It's not even beating him to death. She hits him with like a bottle of milk for like 5 minutes. It's like a plastic bottle of milk, and it's shooting and exploding all over the place. Then she takes his gun and she just shoots him like multiple times.
That's right. She shoots him like 5 times. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So I'm just like, so at this scene, there's like a tar monster with tentacles or some shit laying in the middle of the bed.
It's like a half humanoid type thing.
Oh, I don't even know
She
what
says,
it
we
looks
made
like.
love all night last night.
Yeah, just that right there. I'm like, please, God, don't show it. All I was thinking was, don't show us this, please, because I know that it's just gonna happen. I know it.
Yeah.
And it did.
She goes back home. They have another fight. Sam Neill. She trashes the house. She destroys the house, and he's like still begging. He goes, "What if I fell to the floor at your feet and begged you like a dog?" And she goes, "I don't care." And he does it anyways.
Yeah, it's like, okay, dude, you have some fucking dignity.
Yeah, but he said he doesn't care anymore, but he keeps
I know,
acting
but
like he does.
He keeps like he's like obsessed with her in a crazy way.
There's a scene where her friend and him, she comes to him drunk, and she takes off his jacket, and he brings her to bed and puts her in bed, and it seems like they are romantically involved. Although
Yeah.
he's like, "I hate your guts," and she's like, "I hate yours." I don't know what happened there.
None of this movie makes any sense at all.
She
Like
keeps
not
coming
one
to
scene.
babysit though.
She
keeps coming over to
babysits the kid while the mother, who's like the worst mother on the face of the earth, is going to have sex with some kind of tar monster.
The kid has nightmares. He's screaming this stuff like "mommy, mommy, mommy." It's like wild acting. Even the kid is out of control.
Yeah, at this point,
everybody's screaming.
I think that I was literally about to fall asleep because I couldn't take anymore. Like I literally was just putting myself out on purpose because I just couldn't take it anymore. When this scene happens, the scene that everyone talks about, right?
Okay.
I've never seen anything like this. And this is why I'm telling you guys to watch this movie. You have to see this acting. You just have to. Or you just look it up on YouTube. I don't give a shit. But either way, there's a scene where this woman, Anna, is walking through a tunnel. And it looks like maybe a subway, I don't know, subway tunnel or something.
Yeah, it's a subway.
And she's carrying like a bag of
groceries.
And she just freaks out. And when I say freaks out, she starts swinging the bags of groceries around. There's milk and flour and eggs all over her. She's beating the groceries against the wall, screaming and flailing about. And the physical acting...
Think mosh pit.
Yeah, mosh pit. Like, she's definitely in some kind of mosh pit. Like, literally having, like, something go through her body. Some kind of, like, entity. Because I've never seen this kind of acting before. She was literally, physically, just bending her body and just freaking out and flailing around. Like, she was just...
Yeah.
I've never seen anything
Well,
like
the best part of this sequence is after this physical acting of insanity, of flipping out against a wall and all over the rolling around, she sits on her knees and she liquefies out of her body. Liquids pour out of the side of her head, bloody liquid. Milk starts pouring out of her mouth, and green liquid is pouring out of whatever's downstairs.
Whatever's downstairs,
And
I don't even know.
We watch it, and she's like, "Ah."
Oh, it's looked like she's melting, and it's the grossest. It's green and white and red.
Yeah,
and
it's every
like
liquid you can imagine
liquid,
pouring out nasty-wise.
Like all at once. After this woman has literally what feels like a 30-minute long freak out.
Yeah.
Okay, then she's pouring out who knows what. I don't even know what it is. Okay, I can't even speculate.
To lead to this insanity, what happened before this scene to set it up is that Sam Neill is telling her that basically when he's begging for her, she tells him, "I'm doing everything so I could keep you guys away because something is happening and I don't want you around." And he's like, "You're trying to protect us," and she's like, "Maybe," and she's like, "I know it's too much, but I can't stop it now. And I have to keep you away." She's basically saying stuff like that. I'm generalizing it. It's more insane, and it goes on longer than you can imagine. And that's when this whole freak out happens. And now Sam Neill's also freaking out. He's getting obsessed again. He's like head over heels for her. And he meets up, the boyfriend, he tells the boyfriend on the phone, basically to get this guy in trouble. He sends him to the house after he knows the two detectives have gone missing. He sends the boyfriend over there. He gets to the house. He goes in the house. And he sees the monster Now the monster has googly eyes now,
Yeah.
and stares at him, and something happens to his ears and his mind, and he's like freaking out, and she screams and stabs him in the chest with like a blade, a knife, and he runs out of the house. Now he calls Sam Neill and says, "Holy crap, it's real. There is a monster in the house. It's happening." Sam Neill meets him in a weird bar, and they're downstairs in this basement as
He's
bar
still
plays.
bleeding.
And he's got like paper towels on the wound, and Sam Neill's like, "It's not true. You're making it up," and he knows it's true. Sam Neill's like, "I know something really wrong is happening." I don't think he knows to the length that it's happening. And then he kills this guy. He knocks him over the head with a toilet cover, and it drowns him in the toilet bowl. I was shocked. I was like, okay,
I couldn't believe
he just
that.
committed murder, and he made it look like this guy had died in the bathroom.
Yeah, but why? What was the reasoning?
I don't know, right? So then he goes to the house. Oh, he actually sets his house. No, he goes to the house and he sees the monster having sex with his wife. And there is a full-on sex scene with this monster going at her. And it's like an eel monster. It's like a half-humanoid body and a tail for a penis, I think. And she is like trying to climax, which is insane. And we just get to watch Samuel's face and her face staring back as this thing's happening. And he runs out, and I think that's when he kills the guy. And then he goes back, and the monster is gone, and the wife is gone. And so his first thought, he goes in the refrigerator and finds all of the body parts of the detectives. And he says his first instinct here is to blow the house up. So he rigs the house up, and he makes it explode to cover up the evidence, I'm guessing, of the detectives and stuff, which is insane that he would cover this all up.
Yeah.
And he killed this guy for her. And to make matters, the mother calls, and the mother's looking for her. The boyfriend is her son.
Yeah.
And he's like, where is he? He's dead, but where is his soul? And Samuel's like, I don't know where his soul is, and it's gone. And she's like, you're lying to me. There's like a whole sequence, and the mother kills herself in front of Sam Neill and just takes some liquid and dies in bed. And the window opens, like her spirit leaves. And she says, my son's spirit is loose.
God.
So
Just listening to you say these words, I'm like, I need help.
the best friend woman is watching the son, and that when he's looking and doing all this bomb stuff and all this stuff, and he gets back home, and now the best friend woman walks out dying. Her throat's been slit, and she dies, and he hides her body in the bathtub, and you don't even know where the son is.
The son's missing through half
I
of
think
this.
the son is I don't know where the son
Who
is. At
knows
this
where
point.
he is?
And he's like freaking out. And the cops show up. It is so weird. Random cops show up. Sam Neill tricks a taxi driver. He says to a taxi driver,
Back up, then full speed and crash into the police car.
My pleasure, sir.
and the taxi cab driver goes, you got it, pal. And he does it. And Sam Neill ducks and rolls. And the cab driver does it, bashes into the cops' cars. And he just gets out and runs. Sam Neill has a gunfight and shoots the head detective of the cops. And they shoot Sam Neill. He's shot. And he gets away. And they chase him like Blues Brothers at the end. All the cops are chasing him. He gets into a building. His wife and now a second Sam Neill show up. It is that monster has become Sam Neill, a younger version, more clean version. And Sam Neill's dying. And the monster says,
I wanted to show it to you. It is finished now.
Oh, yes.
Sam Neill gets riddled with bullets, and so does the wife from the cops downstairs, as the monster Sam Neill is just like very happy about it. Sam Neill's wife picks up a gun and shoots herself in the back into Sam Neill as they're holding each other. And then the devil walks, I guess the devil.
How does she shoot herself in the back?
She takes the gun with his hand and puts it on the trigger and shoots
Oh,
herself
that's right,
through
yeah.
the back.
Okay.
They
I mean, just
they
listening
die
to this.
together.
I mean, if you're still with us, oh my God. Like, honestly, listening to this, it has to make you want to watch this movie.
The devil walks up. Oh, yeah, the teacher is watching the child. The devil
Okay,
walks up the
yeah,
stairs
yeah.
and says, "Is there a way out to a woman who's outside the door or her door?" And he says, "Is there a way out?" She goes, "Yeah, through the skylight." And he puts a gun in this girl's hand and says, "Shoot at the cops." And she does. And he stands on her shoulders and escapes. And I think he falls. I don't even know because his body falls. I don't even remember whose it is. And then we cut to the teacher with the child in the house, and they're playing. And the kid, there's a knock at the door, and the kid says,
Would you open it, please? Why not, Bob? It could be your father.
Don't open.
But I want to.
Don't open.
But I want to.
Don't open. Don't open. Don't open. Don't open. Please don't open. Don't open it. Don't open.
"Don't open it. Don't open it." And the teacher gets up to go open it. We see Sam Neill as the devil against the glass. You can see through it. And then you hear an apocalypse of noises all over as the child runs upstairs screaming, "Don't open the door. Don't open the door." And he jumps into a full bathtub and I think drowns himself. And we just see the teacher looking with Sam Neill in the background against the glass. And we hear sirens and plane crashes and explosions. Finn.
So it's like hell on earth.
So he has released the devil. She has released the devil, hell on earth, and brought hell to the world. And I just like,
I'm
wow.
like, my brain is like freaking pudding right now.
And we skipped over so much insanity. I'm skipping over so much.
The whole entire movie from start to finish is pure sanity. There is insanity. There is nothing normal, or there's no rational conversations in this movie. You don't know what the fuck you're watching at all through this whole movie. I don't know how many times I said, "What the fuck am I watching?" Like, I literally could not get my head around it. And now I'm telling you guys, if you okay, all right. This is what I seriously. After you're listening to this, I want you to do an assignment. Seriously, watch this movie and go under my post on Instagram under the Crafty Misfit and tell me what you think about this movie, because I need your thoughts. I need to know what the world really thinks about this. I know
people love it.
No, it can't be the entire horror community. There's got to be people out there that feel just the same way as us, that we're just like, what the fuck?
I've seen a lot of ones and I've seen a lot of tens, which I hate. I hate when people go, it's either one extreme or the other extreme. Look for those ratings in the middles to see what people like. If it's a 6 or a 5 or a 4, then I'm like, okay, then I'm going to read those reviews because they feel like they're at least genuine. Though 10s are insane, the 1s are even worse.
To give this movie a 10, I don't know what the hell is going on in your brain. I don't care. This movie is insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
The acting is so over the top.
If it was better constructed, if it made a little bit of flowing sense, and if it would cut down a little bit of time, maybe this would have been that thing that it's hyped up to be.
Yep.
But because of the way the acting is going, and Sam Neill himself has said this is my favorite role that I've ever done.
Yeah, he's actually said that.
And it's the worst acting. I mean, his acting is insane.
His acting was terrible, but I gotta say, Isabella Johnny, I have to give her some credit because of what she had to, what kind of mental state she had to be in to do that physical acting. I mean,
I agree,
that acting was, I've never seen acting like that in my life.
Yeah, it is wild.
So, I mean, I don't even know what I would rate this. I have to really just consider it.
I'm giving it a 3 or 4.
It's
one of the two.
I'm going to have to go with a 3. And I'm sure that these people that are giving this a 10 would probably want to smack me in the face. But honestly, I want to smack you in the face because I can't believe you're giving this a friggin' 10.
A 10.
What's wrong with you?
I get it because it's that hype of that so odd, that this oddity that you love for a strange reason. I get that. And I know some people really build that up.
I get that too.
Not this. This is bad act. This is just, it doesn't have a flowing narrative.
No, it doesn't gel at all.
The monster is creepy looking. Her acting is insane and it's intriguing. But the movie around it is not good. If he wasn't so insane, I know that's part of the message and I'm missing the point. But if it was just a little more subdued, then I think it would have flowed better and it would have been a better like wrapped up movie.
Yeah.
There is so much potential
there's-
here,
yeah, there
but
is
there's so much bad.
There's a lot of potential, but honestly, like if your movie doesn't gel and you sit there the whole time thinking, okay, this is just so extra, but there's nothing to counteract this extra,
Yeah.
You have to counteract the extra. And they didn't do that in this.
Yeah.
I mean, this woman, this actress, clearly, I mean, she just brought it. But I think it was a bit much.
Yeah.
And so I'm giving it a 3. I
I
want
think
you
a
guys to watch
3.
this movie. Just watch it because of the insanity. You've never seen acting like this in your life.
This was close to a 1 for me because I was uncontrollably laughing during it.
I mean, I can't. I'm going to give it a 3 because, I've never seen a movie that had this much what the fuck in
Yeah.
it. So,
The
yeah.
only reason we're even giving it a decent is because of that acting from that woman and everything like that.
Right, yeah.
But my mind melted during this thing.
Oh, kidding me? I went to a different spot on Earth mentally.
Yeah, I just feel like I went to space. If someone told me
Yeah.
that they had given me an edible before I watched this movie,
Yes.
and that I was experiencing some kind of hallucination, I would 100% agree with
I mean,
that.
had we been on edibles watching this,
I probably would have jumped out a window.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 It's insane. But
And my
yeah.
neighbors, I can't believe they didn't call the cops.
I know, because we had to turn down the sound so many times. I was screaming, but damn, this is not a 10, you guys. I don't know what is going on, but this is not a 10. This is a 2 or a 3.
And God bless the people who really gravitated toward this and loved it. Like, God bless you guys, because I give you a lot of credit. You're looking for those video nasties, I suppose, and you really
Yeah.
enjoy those. And some people, I get it, you do, but not for me, man. Not for me. I need an actual coherent, a little bit of a coherent. It could be like subtle. It doesn't have to be right on its sleeve of what it's about.
No.
But not in this kind of formation. Not in
No.
this trashy
They
form.
just did it wrong. It was just all wrong. Everything about this.
Just half a comedy by accident.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a good thing.
It's insane. I want you to watch it. Go to the Crafty Misfit on Instagram and comment on my post.
Yeah, I need to.
And tell me what you think. I really want you to tell me what you think.
I
need
gotta
to
go
hear.
relax my brain.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's get that one. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good one.
Can you tell me now?
I messed everything up. Even Bob. I felt shit, liar.